Hello, friends. Welcome to the YouTube channel of Life and More. Today we have eminent classical vocalist Nithya Rajendran with us. She belongs to a family of connoisseurs and performers of music and is trained in both Carnatic and Hindustani classical. And she has given several performances at various prestigious forums and has also performed thematic concerts presenting one particular raga in both Carnatic and Hindustani styles, and she's a passionate photographer as well, and she also delves deep into spirituality. So today in this session we'll talk about her life and all these various facets of a persona. Welcome, Nitya.
Thank you, Rajkumari, for having me on this show. It's really a
Yeah,
privilege. Thank you so much.
pleasure is all mine. So Nitya, let's begin with you singing us some rag in both
Sure, sure.
the Hindustani and the Carnatic style.
Okay, sure. I'll be happy to. I'll open with a small piece in Rag Ahir Bhairav in the Hindustani style, and I will follow with its equivalent in Carnatic. It's known as Chakravagam. The name of the ragam is known as Chakravagam. It's the same scale. So, my humble um, offering to your audience. अलबेला सजन आयो रे अलबेला साजन आयो रे अलबेला साजन आयो रे तेरी सखी मन सुख पायो रे तेरी सखी मन सुख पायो रे अलबेला साजन आयो रे तेरी सखी मन सुख पायो रे अलबेला साजन आयो रे. Now, Carnatic, same scale, for Chakravagam. Tadari na tadana na 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 गजाननयुतं गणेश्वरं गजाननयुतं गणेश्वरं भजामि सततं सूर्येश्वरं श्रीगजाननयुतं गणेश्वरं भजामि सततं सूर्येश्वरं श्रीगजाननयुतं गणेश्वरम्.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you so
So,
much.
Nitya, yeah, that was beautiful. So, tell me, you were trained in both Carnatic and Hindustani classical. How is it
Yes,
that
so
normally
yes, I
people pick
understand.
up one?
Correct. So I initially started off learning Carnatic music because I was born
Mhm.
in South India. I am a South Indian and belong to a Carnatically inclined family. So when I was five, It was very organic in my family because my mother was exposed to music. My great grand uncle was a very famous composer of traditional devotional music, Tamil music called Tirupugal. So it was all around in the family. So my mother, discovered maybe I could sing a little bit when I was age 5. I was on her lap and the electricity had gone and she was just humming something. I just repeated after her and she said, you know what, maybe we should put you in music classes. So that's how the
Okay.
journey of learning Carnatic music began. In addition
Okay.
to a very good tutelage, touchwood, my first guru, Srimati Vijaya Natarajan, who was
Mhm.
singer to Dansu's Padma Subramanian, was my teacher. So she laid a fantastic foundation. And then I also went to a school, Padma Seshadri, which was very heavily inclined towards fine arts. So they would encourage
Okay.
dance and music, Bharatanatyam and classical music, Carnatic music very much. So I was sent for competitions and sent for, made to perform. And it became a very, very organic encouragement for me, both from my
Mhm.
school. So that's how
Mhm.
Carnatic came in. I got scholarships, central government cultural
Mhm.
scholarships. I represented my state in the national level in many competitions. And life went
Mhm.
on. I went on to do my first concert maybe when I was 13 or 14 years old. But
Oh.
around late teens is when I got exposed to Hindustani classical music, and I was very, very drawn to it for its
Okay.
melody and for its spiritual content. Even Carnatic is very spiritually inclined, but in a very different way. Hindustani was, it's like a different sensation for my sound palette, let's say. And then I started training in Chennai under a guru, and then fortunately the interest grew in Hindustani also. And then I moved to Bombay sometime in the mid 2000s, 2006. I moved here,
Mhm.
and then Srimati Dhanashri
Mhm.
Pandit Rai was my first guru in Hindustani. I had wonderful illustrious gurus in Carnatic also, Padma Shri Gayatri Shankaran, among many others. And now I
Mhm.
learned from Shri T and Ashok, and I have learned from Srimati Tara Vijayaraghvan. Both of them are high grade artists with All India Radio. Now,
Mhm.
when I moved to Mumbai, I started learning Hindustani music from Srimati Dhanashri Pandit Rai, and then went on to learn from many other people like Srimati Shuchita Tlekar and now Srimati Usha Deshpande Tikekar, who all come from fantastic musical families. And
Mhm.
I went on to graduate with this rank and distinction in Hindustani music. And I'm
Mhm.
also a empaneled high grade artist with All India Radio across both
All India
forms. So
Radio.
yes,
Mhm.
so I've developed interest and I've had the support of wonderful teachers and gurus and who continue to
Mhm.
bless me. Those who have passed on bless me from above.
Mhm.
So I'm thankful for
So,
this journey.
are you still learning? Like, do you still attend classes?
So yes, I mean, like anybody who's a musician will tell you that learning never stops. It doesn't stop in one
Yeah.
birth. Actually, it's like
Mm.
swimming in an ocean. So the more you keep growing and learning, the more you can impart. So I
Mm.
would never want to stop being a student, whether it is through a guru
Okay.
or whether it is through learning by listening to maestros, by expanding my
Mm.
musical palette as
Mm.
much as I can till the day I
Mm.
leave the world and even beyond that. So I can't say I will ever stop learning, and neither can any
So,
musician.
okay. So, if I were to ask you, which style do you like more, or love more, or are more passionate about, Hindustani or Carnatic?
The Rajkumari, they're two different worlds.
Mm.
It's like asking someone who loves nature, who
Mm.
loves any form of nature, whether they like the ocean more or the hills more. It's like
Mm.
nature is nature, right? Whether you go to the mountains have a different grandeur and beauty. The oceans have a different grandeur and beauty. So it's like choosing between apples and oranges or mangoes and
Mm.
strawberries. If you're a lover of fruits, you just love those fruits for their taste and for their flavor. Correct. So it's very
Okay.
difficult for me to say. I
Mm.
mean, I wouldn't have done both if I didn't like both equally. So I can't
Yeah, yeah.
actually. I can't pick one.
Okay. So let me put it another way. So which kind of concerts are you more inclined towards doing? Hindustani or Carnatic?
So the way I've framed my concerts is to bring in both.
Both.
Because
Okay. Every time.
I'm so yeah, most of the times, I mean, I've performed across both styles individually also, but as I
Mm,
have grown to love both forms so much equally, I almost
mm,
feel I'm being unfair to the other form if I perform only one. So when
okay.
I have concerts where I have creative leeway, I always try
Mm,
and bring in both forms and try to
mm,
expand the audiences for each form. So if there's a Carnatic
mm,
audience, I bring in little bit of Hindustani so that they are exposed to a different form of the same raga, and the other way
okay.
around also. So if I have a Hindustani
Mm,
audience, I try and bring in some Carnatic pieces so that they understand. So it's like what I have enjoyed. It's like going all your life having tasted only mangoes and loving mangoes, but if somebody else gives you a beautiful strawberry or a lovely fruit,
mm,
wouldn't you say that there are these other fruits also which you should taste? So
yeah.
it's that passion for trying to get the audience to go through the beautiful journeys that I go through when I sing or hear or learn,
Mm,
that
mm,
drives me to introduce audiences to both forms.
mm. You want to, you want them also to enjoy the way you enjoy both the forms.
Absolutely. I do think
Yeah.
that this is a very personal philosophy I have, and a opinion
Mm,
that I have formed over time, is that
mm,
while I love singing and I love my journey as a musician, as a singer, uh,
mm,
it's far more beautiful if what I experience can be experienced by the audience.
mm. Yeah.
And what I experience can be experienced by my students or by the learners or by
Mm,
people who attend my
mm,
workshops or whatever, in whatever
mm,
way whatever format I am interacting with
mm,
another person or another human being. If I
mm,
can get them
mm,
to experience what I experience, for me, I think as a singer also it's a much greater high rather than
mm,
them enjoying my music as an audience and
mm,
giving me an applause for it, which is also very beautiful, for any performer,
mm,
someone enjoying your music. But if they can experience exactly what I'm experiencing, the levels of high,
mm,
the spiritual upliftment that I feel, if they can feel
mm.
it too, it's a kind of connectedness which happens on an equal plane rather than me
Yeah.
being on some sort of stage or pedestal. So that's a
Mm,
wonderful feeling. So a lot of my
mm,
concerts I try and make it very interactive. I also talk to my
mm.
audiences. I get them to understand this nuance here and there so that they are also
Okay.
able to appreciate. So
Okay.
yeah, that's very important to me.
Okay. Okay. So you spoke a little about your family while you began, but I want to know more about it. Like you were
Okay.
born and brought up in Chennai.
Yes.
Tell me
So I
something
was
about your
born in Delhi.
parents.
Yes, I was
Acha.
born in Delhi. I was brought up in
Mm,
Chennai. My parents, actually, both my parents originally, even though they're
mm,
Tamilians, they hail from Delhi because my both sets of
okay.
grandparents have lived in Delhi. So, but they
Mm-hmm.
moved to Chennai when they got married, and then I was
Mm,
born in Delhi because my mother's Maika was there. So I was born
okay.
there. I moved to Chennai, and Chennai is it's a big mecca for
Mm-hmm.
Carnatic music. So,
Mm,
of course, the rest of it I told you. But like I
mm,
said, my mother's side, my mother also sings. My father's
mm,
side is a very, very they're connoisseurs of music. They love to listen. My granddad always had Bhimsen Joshi and
mm,
ML Vasantakumari, all these greats of both forms on his
mm.
speaker. And he was very fond of
Okay.
music. And my father
Mm-hmm.
is got a very keen ear for music. And my mom side
Mm,
sings and performs. So there was music all around. Yeah,
mm,
so that's in short my let's say the
mm.
family milieu in which music happened.
Yeah. So your entry into music was like seamless and a given thing. Okay, this will
Kind of,
happen
yeah,
only.
because yes, because also maybe because my mom noticed that I had some affinity towards it and also possibly some ability very early
Mm,
on, and then the school took over. The school takes a lot of
mm,
interest in children who are interested in
mm,
dance and music or who can dance
mm,
and sing. So it
mm.
was like in that sense it was very organic. It just happened
Okay.
very
Okay.
seamlessly.
Yeah. So, which was your first public performance? Maybe as a child?
Oh, yeah, I mean, well, the very first time I got on stage was, I remember, I told you this incident where the electricity had gone and my mother put me on her lap and I repeated what she was humming, and she discovered I could sing. So shortly after that, she enrolled me in a competition, in a singing
Okay.
competition, and
Okay.
that was the very first time. I must have been in grade one or two, maybe 6 or 7 years
Mhm.
old.
That's quite small.
Yes, yes. So I remember standing in front of the whole school, and that was the first time
Mm,
I had a mic in front of
mm.
me. I
Okay.
remember that it was very, very nerve wracking,
Mm.
I won the third prize. My first
Okay.
competition, I won the third, but I was one of the youngest participants in that. We had
Mm,
older kids also,
mm,
but I
mm,
came back very happy, and it was a very new feeling for me to get a prize and somebody telling me that, oh, you're singing well, because it was not something I had never ever associated with myself till that age.
mhm.
It is only by
Okay.
accident that my mom figured, and after that I just kept, the school, like I said, took over. They just kept pushing me to
Mm,
different competitions, and
mm,
then I was on stage all the time. Then, of course, because of Carnatic training, I
mm,
got on stage for a lot of concerts
mm,
through the school
mm.
and otherwise also.
How
So
many
that was my
concerts you must? How many concerts you must have given till now?
difficult to say.
No
Difficult to
number.
say. I don't know. I mean, there were a few
Okay.
years where there would be gaps because I didn't take up music fully professionally initially. It was a big
Mhm,
passion and a hobby till my late 20s, mid to late 20s.
mm,
So I can say that concerts would keep happening, but I had a mainstream job. I was in
mm,
advertising, then I became a photographer. So I never kept count of how many I did, but I think in the last decade, I would say a lot more concerts. I really can't
mhm.
count, but quite a few,
No.
quite a few, I would say.
Okay, okay, okay. So tell me, like you had a job, you were working, and you were following your passion, and you were quite fine with it. What made you switch over fully into music?
That's a very, very, very lovely question, because a lot of people have this juncture in their lives where they feel that they have a passion, but
Hmm.
it's not viable to pursue, right?
Yeah.
Because it's
Hmm.
not a proper profession. It's not a, you know, it's not a known path. How do you make a living out of it? There are a lot of these questions. Hmm.
Hmm.
So again, I don't know. I don't know whether it was stupidity or or intelligence. It's difficult to say, but I just at some point in that period, I mean, I was always singing, right? Singing was
Hmm.
anyway there, even through my
Hmm.
professional life, and
Hmm.
there would be this terrible feeling in my gut, like some
Hmm.
sort of a pang, when I would
Hmm.
see other people who have pursued music and who have gone
Okay.
on to uh, forget a career, make that their main day occupation. Just
Hmm.
being involved in music the whole day. I used to
Hmm.
feel a sense of, oh my God, I wish I could just be in music the whole day and just do music, and then it just becomes a career, sort of like a wishful thought. And when life went on and on, and it's not like I was totally unhappy doing my career. It was also a creative profession, but
Hmm.
there was a big turning point when Srimati Dhanashree Pandit, who was my first guru in Mumbai in Hindustani music, there was this
Hmm.
word that she used, dagger in the heart. She said, if you
Okay.
don't pursue music and give it full justice, you will feel a dagger in your heart somewhere down the line, as though it's a regret that is feels like literally somebody else. That resonated with me so much. I think I don't know whether that was the exact turning point, but it was around that I said, you know what, I really need to start giving more importance to music. I still didn't make it my profession. I went on to graduate in it, and I could manage to do both my graduation and my photography. I was a photographer at that time. I managed to juggle both. Went on to get my All India Radio, the first grade. Then I upgraded and all of that. And slowly, slowly, people started coming to me saying, "Can you teach our child music? Can you teach me music?" So, along with my profession, I
Hmm.
was starting to teach, and then concerts started coming more and more because more people knew I was singing. And slowly, slowly, stealthily, music started creeping into my life and clawing away more at my time and at my heart. And then one
Hmm.
fine day, I said, you know what? It doesn't make sense to do this juggling. If if
Hmm.
my heart is there, I might as well give it my fullest. And then I made the shift.
Hmm.
I started an academy. because I also felt that teaching is a way to have music both as a profession and as a passion, because you can give back to society, give back to people at the same time. It can be a structured way of it being a profession. And of course, that's how Music Vriksh came about. It became an academy and it became an umbrella under which I was doing my concerts and my, thematic presentations, like I mentioned earlier. So, yeah, so here we are. It's been 8 years, 7, 8 years now.
Music Flix came up 7, 8 years back.
Yes, seven. About the beginnings were about 7, 8 years ago, but in its current
Hmm.
form, I think about 5 years, 5, 6 years, I would say.
Okay. So you just said that you were a photographer, but even photography is not a very mainstream job kind of a thing.
It's
It's
not.
also,
It's not.
hmm?
Correct. So
So,
I was in advertising first. So advertising is
hmm,
again like I was with an agency. That
okay.
was a proper job. But again,
Hmm,
it's like slowly during my work in an advertising agency, I was again not in the creative side. I was in the
hmm,
servicing business side, and I would keep looking at the creative
okay.
guys who are doing the photography work, and like, I wish, I want to be in a, like in a proper job, but I want to
Hmm,
do something creative. So then I learned photography, and then
okay.
I started off a photography practice, which was doing very well. And then slowly,
Hmm,
like I said, somehow I guess, um, in stages, I moved from a mainstream, let's say a quintessential typical type of job, slowly, slowly, slowly,
hmm,
into something creative, and then fully
towards,
into music. Yes,
hmm.
I guess
Although,
it's
although you
the heart
began,
has lot to be. Yeah.
yeah, although you began your life with a creative thing,
Yes, I
music
I
came
don't
into
think
your
I.
life much. Hmm,
Yes, I think
hmm,
my basic makeup is, I am a
hmm,
creative person as a person. So
hmm,
I can't
hmm,
envisage myself in a very, let's say, left brain kind of profession, like investment
hmm,
banking or banker or
hmm,
CA. I would have never been happy with that. I would have,
hmm,
even if I had not taken up music, it would have still continued to be a creative profession, but maybe in a more, let's say, in a more structured way, like going to a
hmm,
agency for a job, or um, tying up with a photography company and doing work. I would have tried to balance it that way, but then I just realized there's no point doing half and half. If you really want to do it, you
hmm.
just do it fully. So
Yeah,
that's how
yeah,
that's how it happened.
yeah. Okay. So you have performed all over India, almost all over India.
Yes, many places, I would say, quite a few places,
Yeah.
all over.
So,
Like I
hmm,
said, since
hmm,
music became more serious a little later in life, I
hmm,
would say bulk of the performances happened after I moved to Mumbai, and
hmm,
so on and so forth. So most of the performances outside India have happened when I have after I've moved to Mumbai. So some of the
hmm,
really good ones have happened in Pune, in Mumbai
hmm,
also, and of course in Chennai,
hmm.
in different
Yeah.
parts. Yeah.
Okay. So which place have you found your audiences to be most receptive and most loving and appreciative?
Um. Again, so when I perform for an audience, uh,
Hmm,
like I mentioned earlier, my whole orientation is not so much to get acceptance from them, rather than it's my I'm trying to get them to experience something that I want them to experience. So, so there are different kinds of audiences, right? You perform for. The two top things that come to mind, two top shows that concerts that come to my mind are one in Pune for the International Festival for Spiritual India, which happened just before
okay.
COVID. That was a very interesting
Hmm,
audience. Um,
hmm,
Again, my concert format is very interactive, like I said. So even if it's a really big auditorium, I actually make eye contact and speak to people. It's not like I just
okay.
go sing and get people to hear and applaud. So
Hmm,
in one such concert which was in Pune, a lot
hmm,
of people walked up to me because it was like a concert that had people try to identify certain signature phrases in a rag or certain beauty spots in a rag. And I would ask them, did they identify it? I would tell them,
okay.
ah, this oscillation. Can you hear this oscillation? Can you hear this? And people would raise their hand and they would walk up to me. So it was very interactive. After this particular concert, a lot of people walked up to me and told me a few things which for me was very satisfying, because they said, we have not gone to a concert which is interactive like this, and we felt
Mm,
that you were holding our hand and taking us with you rather than giving us something and we were sitting back passively taking it. So, and each of them came up with different things. I felt happier, I felt lighter, I felt more accepted. I used to feel judged and very scared to sit in an auditorium to listen to classical music, but now I feel that I can do it because there's nothing wrong with anybody enjoying any raga. So different people walked up to me and spoke. So that is one concert I remember to be very very satisfying. And the other one was much young. When I was much younger, I sang this particular raga, which is equal to Todi of Hindustani. It's called Subha Pandurali. And there was a lady sitting in the front seat. It was a Carnatic concert. I hadn't learned Hindustani at that time. So there was a lady sitting in the front seat. After performing that particular raga, she walked up to me and she said something that I can never forget. She said, today, when I came for the concert, I was carrying a lot of burden in my heart because of some upheaval in her life at that point in time. And she heard that particular raga and it disarmed her, and she had a cathartic moment and she felt lighter after it. And she said, thank you, I'm feeling lighter because I just wept and I'm feeling lighter. So I came away saying, if I can in some way do this, it may not be in the exact same way, but in some way have some impact on each person through the music I sing or impart or whatever, then the music gains a certain purpose and halo. So these are the two concerts I can think of which had a lot of significance for me. And this was in a very, very lovely forum called Bharat Kalachar in Chennai.
but that must be very humbling, also humbling experience when somebody is like is drawing so much from your one piece of music,
Yes,
like this lady.
I I don't know. The feelings are a little mixed looking back, because sometimes the singer is just a medium for the
Mm,
music to come forth. The in very pure moments in music, the person or the doer fades, and it's just the music that's there, and it's coming through some inspirational channel through my voice at that particular time and going to somebody. So you're more like a medium rather than the source, you know. So
yeah,
that
yeah.
is the humbling part, because
Mm,
sometimes what happens is when once I can't use this, I am going to use this word very loosely. When one's ego or sense of self is in what you're doing, which is our default state for all of us all the time. We are in a doership
mm,
mode most of the time, right?
mm,
It's very difficult to
mm,
step away.
mm,
Then that purity of music somehow faces a barrier.
mm,
It must have been some point at that in that concert, because it must have happened that I have, in that particular piece of music that may have had an impact on her, I must have stepped away from
taken
myself
a back
and let the
seat.
music, yeah, and let the music come.
Yeah.
So it's important to not go away thinking I did it, or because of me she
Mm,
had this.
mm,
It is more like a sense of gratitude that you became that medium for some time, and the
mm,
music came through you, and you are grateful to God that he made you the medium for that few minutes or few seconds. Yes, in that sense, it should ideally be a humbling situation rather than one that says, oh, look at me, I sang so well and she's crying. You know,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's important for us to keep remembering that the more you hone your skill, musical skill or
Mm,
throat or voice, you become a better antenna. That's it. You just
mm,
become a better antenna for receiving some divine source of sound, which we call music,
mm,
and
yeah.
delivering it to the TV box, which is your audience. You know,
True.
you're nothing
So
more than
true.
an
So
antenna.
true.
It's important to know
Yeah.
that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Very rightly said. Acha, you've done a course in music therapy.
Yes, I did. Um,
Uh,
so the thing is, with music therapy, which is a very commonly used word, which I'm personally a little, I don't like to call what I believe in. the powers of music, wellness powers of music as music therapy, the way I see it and the way I practice it. Even though I did a course on it, um, the way music therapy is supposed to be correctly interpreted is the way it is done in the Western world, where they use different Western compositions of Beethoven or Mozart or whatever, and study the effect on the brain, effect on dementia, effect on autism, Alzheimer's. So those are scientific studies, and they are still being done. There's a lot of work in that area, but we can't say it is progress to a point of 100% conclusive evidence, right?
Okay.
So all the more in Indian music. We don't have the
Mm,
funding. We don't have, of course, there are a lot of organizations trying to do, even though we can sense that there's a lot of potential, there's not much funding for this. So it's very, one has to be very careful to not call it therapy, because when you're saying
mm,
therapy, you're promising that, oh, if you sing this rag, diabetes will go. While there is
mm,
enough um, potential for it, and maybe there are some studies that are coming out, we can't say 100% until it's fully scientifically backed. So I would like to put what I try and do personally
mm,
into a different
mm,
category, which is wellness through music, which is
mm,
basically we are looking at the starting point being a mentally and spiritually well person, who
mm,
therefore becomes physically fit, who therefore
mm,
becomes psychologically well. So I try and, because I don't want to get into a area which I don't know 100% about. I wouldn't want to say I can say, sing this rag, your diabetes will get better. Sing this rag, your hypertension will get better. But I can confidently say that when you enter the classical music space, there are few things that are
mm,
surely going to happen. One is it's going to be the right milieu for a very centered, present, meditative state of mind. It's a great fertile ground to bring your mind to a meditative state. That is number one. Two is
mm,
ragas in themselves have emotive ability, different shades of emotions. So as you connect to different ragas, those emotions that are repressed in you have an opportunity to come out. Possibly what happened in that particular concert many years ago, you connect with,
mm.
not everybody can connect to all ragas. You may connect to a
True.
particular raga in the particular way, in a certain way, and it may evoke certain types of emotions in you. The fact that it is allowing you to emote is a big step in wellness. Even in
Mm,
psychoanalytic therapy, they say if you're able to bring your feelings forward and allow
mm,
your deeper emotions to come forward, that is a big step in wellness, right? Mental and emotional
mm,
wellness. So that music will do. That I can say for sure,
mm,
because just out of personal and empirical evidence, I can say
mm,
100% that when you come into the fold of classical music, this you will get. And
mm,
this is a beginning point for the journey towards wellness, whether it is the willpower to do your workout or have more patience with your child or have better stress management skills. These are things that will automatically happen as you come into this
mm,
space. So I would say that what I believe in is not music therapy. I mean, I'm sure there are music therapists who do a lot more authentic work, but what I would want to offer for people is what I know for sure, which is
mm.
wellness through music, mental, emotional,
Wellness.
and spiritual wellness through music.
Mm. So, are people coming to you for these wellness sessions? Do you
Yes.
hold wellness
So
sessions
the
in your?
exactly. So the way this happens again is a very organic process. So
Mm,
people who come to learn music stumble upon, because our milieu has got this underpinning, our whole, the way we teach and the way we present music has got this wellness underpinning. Even if we don't say it, we're constantly
mm,
talking about making the student or the participant become more centered, participant become more aware. We stop if they're having an emotional moment. We don't force them to continue learning for those few seconds if they're crying or if they want to share. So automatically it becomes a space where people explore their inner self and become more aware. So
mm,
that is one way it happens. And then there are structured workshops that we have conducted in the past, which are actually claim like they are proper music for wellness workshops, where we have people coming and participating and learning to expose themselves to different ragas and different scales, and getting aware of what it does to them emotionally. Like they stop and say, okay, this made me feel this made me feel happy, this made me nostalgic, this reminded me of something. So there is a lot of awareness building through these workshops.
mm,
So we have had people come for these workshops. That's the second way it happens. And the third way it happens is again a very strange kind of way. There are certain segments of people in certain phases of their lives. So women who are undergoing menopause, or older people who have an empty nest, set of feelings of depression, anxiety, having,
mm.
or children going through a restless phase in school. We have them coming and saying, we I don't know what promotes them, but they come and say we want to learn music. And
Okay.
in the process of learning classical music, they are ending up finding something more than just music, which is a sense of all of these things, which is a sense of calmness,
Mm,
peace, and happiness. So there it happens by accident, and then they wake up to the potential. So these are the different
mm,
ways that wellness through music happens within the umbrella of music work. So one, through structured workshops, which we have done and which we continue to offer. Two is through us creating a milieu during our classes for people to be emotionally aware, and three, people stumbling upon wellness while they're coming for something else.
okay.
So
So
that's how
through
it has
your
happened.
music, okay. So through your music breaks, you hold like teach music, no? What
Yeah.
all age groups do you cater to? Are there any older people who are coming to learn music, or you
So
take only children?
yeah. So Music Ruksh is basically an umbrella, let's say, initiative.
Mm,
Classes and learning classical music is a big part of it.
mm,
I also, like I said, we have conducted music for wellness workshops, which also come under
mm,
the Music Ruksh banner. And a lot of my
mm,
thematic concepts also I put under the Music Ruksh banner. So it is not
mm,
just classes or academy, it is all of these things. So for the
mm,
latter two, there is a lot of my personal presence in those gigs, whether it is a workshop or
mm,
a concert demonstration. In the first part, which is the academy part, we I have a team of people who I have trained, and I have who have understood the philosophy behind what music fiction is about, and the inclusivity and compassion and the sensitivity, and they impart music with that as the background philosophy. Now,
mm.
answering your question, we have our youngest student started at age 4.5, and our oldest student is 65. So that gives you an idea of
So
we have the whole
all the
gamut.
age groups, all the
Yes,
age
we
groups are
have no.
welcome and they are coming.
Yes, yes. So we, like I said, there are different motivations, right? For a child,
Mm,
the
mm,
motivation is different. The parent wants something for the child. Either
mm,
directly they want music, or they want music for the child to feel more relaxed or more happy or more
mm,
confident, whatever.
mm,
Right up to, like
mm,
I said, a 65-year-old who is finished everything, married off her or his kids, and they
mm,
are at a phase in life where they are done with their career, they have retired, they want to get back, or they're feeling an
mm,
emptiness syndrome, so they want to get to music. People who, like I
mm,
said, women during their menopause phase, where they have teenage
mm,
kids, they want to feel calmer, so they come. Teenagers who are going through ups and downs, or who want to sing better Western music, they want to clear up their voice and get the basics right, they come for that purpose. So it's different motivations, and they all come to us. So we welcome anyone who wants to. We are not,
okay.
we don't have any filters.
Okay. So what percentage of say retired people are coming to you? I'm just curious.
Mm, so if you look at even the workshops, we have done a lot of retired, I would say, not only retired, I would say middle age to retired, say
Hmm.
45, 50 onwards, right up to
No, no,
late
retired,
60s, 70s.
retired. Why I'm asking retired is because normally in particular in our country, like it's considered retire हो गया अब कुछ काम नहीं करना अब खाओ पियो और मौज like rest, but that
Correct,
kind of
correct,
life is gives a lot of depression to those people who are older, no,
correct,
they don't, like
correct,
all their life they have worked and now they are suddenly left with no work. So that's why
correct.
I'm asking, like how many people are moving actively towards it, like no, they want to like have a worthwhile time even after active
So
retirement.
we have a lot of people. So the reason I'm bunching late middle age and retirement is because there is something common among the two of them. Is there is a stage of life where they are looking back. They're looking back at their lives, because a lot of main milestones in their lives are done. Even people in their mid 50s, those who got married early, who have much grown up children, they have married their kids off and settled their kids in college. So they're in a similar stage where bulk of the big things in their lives are done and it's behind them. So I would say this kind of profile where there's right now nothing really to look forward to in their typical type of milestones. Everything is done. There is a lot of people in that category. In fact, among adults, most people fall in this category. Adult students are all in this category. They're all 50, 60 plus, 55, 60 plus. I would say 50 plus, I would say. And they're all in this phase where they're rediscovering something. They're, they're going back in time, you know, going back in time to their childhood, reliving their
Maybe
younger
doing
days
things, yeah,
that
maybe
they never
doing
got
things
the
which they
chance to
couldn't
do.
do. Yeah, they couldn't do earlier.
Correct.
So that's pretty
So
nice. That's pretty nice to know.
bulk
So
of our
do you
adults fall
offer,
in that category. Yeah.
yeah, do you offer online classes also? Or it's
Yes.
only, okay.
No, in fact, the bulk of our students are online students because we
Okay.
really picked up during COVID. So we have a lot of
Okay.
international students living abroad, living in UK, US, Dubai. We had students from Dubai, different
Mm,
parts of the world logging in for our classes. We also have people from
mm,
other parts of India who log in. So it's not just
okay.
physical. So those in Mumbai, those who want physical, they we do physical sessions. Otherwise, even
Mm,
some people in Mumbai who live far, who don't have the time to commute or who don't have the resources,
mm,
they log in for
mm,
classes. So we have a hybrid system and we have
mm.
both physical and online.
Okay. Okay. So, looking back at your life now, you are at a stage where you have achieved quite a lot. Although there's
Oh,
no
I
end
can't
to
say
what
that.
a person wants to. No, no, no. There's no end to what a person wants to achieve. Like you always have your milestones keep moving up and up. That's one thing. But you are fairly at a place where you can look back satisfactorily at your life. Okay. I've done something. How do you
Okay.
look back?
I don't know. I'm not, just incapable of looking back. I'm always looking forward. it's I don't know.
That's
I
okay.
I'm just incapable of looking back. I mean, because we are doing this
Mm,
interview, I'm journeying back, and I I since like I said, I started professional music much later in life. I feel that I'm still literally discovering so much
okay.
I want to do, so many more things that are possible, and I'm only feeling more and more excited to just discover these channels, and I want to reach more people. All of these things I'm talking about, if it's reaching
Mm,
X number of people, I want it to reach 1000X. I want it to reach more people. I want more people to feel and benefit from
mm,
it and be transformed by this beautiful form of music. In the process, I get to share my music. I get to share whatever I have experienced with them, and it can become
mm,
a beautifully symbiotic experience where I gain as much as I give. And I'm looking forward to that. So it's very difficult to actually look back. I can only look back in gratitude that whatever has happened so far has given me resources to do what I want to do. So, in that sense, I look back and say thank you to all my gurus and continue to say thank you to everybody who's supporting and giving me the impetus and the
mm.
material to keep going forward. So, it's difficult to answer that. But yeah, looking back, I would say a lot of gratitude for what I've got so that
With
because of that,
with with a bit
I
of
have enough to give.
contentment.
Yes, I mean, yeah, I can say that. I mean, contentment has to be an ongoing feature, even through
Mm,
ambition. It's very difficult actually to balance the two.
mm,
You can be
mm.
ambitious and in the process of achieving that ambition still remain at every point in time contented with everything.
Contented.
It's like
Yeah.
it's one of the things that we even teach our students and our even I talk about this even during my uh, dialogues with during my workshops and all of that, that you have to think of life and the music you're learning much like a human being, right? You can't say a human being is complete only if he becomes an adult. A
Mm,
baby is beautiful because he or she is a baby. There's a completeness in the infancy, there's a completeness as a toddler. There is a beauty as a teenager. There is a beauty as an adult. There is a beauty as a married person, as a old person. Each of them are beautiful stages in themselves. A
mm,
beautiful sapling or a little bud is beautiful because it's a bud. You can't say
mm,
you're not beautiful until you become a flower. While
mm,
its ambition is to become a flower, but the process, which is a sapling bud, each of those are complete beautiful processes in the destinations in themselves. So
mm,
I would like to believe, and this is something I try and inculcate, that every little thing I'm doing holds a completeness and contentment while still being
mm,
a stage towards something bigger. So I would like to look at my journey also with the same attitude, and I would like to impart that, because we have people of all learner profiles, people who have not had
mm,
any background in music. They come and say, how will I ever sing like Lata Mangeshkar? How will I ever?
mm,
I said, why do you think that that is the only way to be happy? If you
mm,
couldn't sing a song yesterday, and if you're able to sing even two lines today, it is a point of completion and content. It's different. You may want to sing 10 songs, but today you can sing two songs, one song, two lines, and you sing it well, that pleases your heart and pleases. That is a point of completion and contentment. Enjoy it.
mm,
Enjoy it while still aspiring for more. So I can
mm.
say that I try and balance ambition and contentment at the same time. I try and do it.
So tell me, amid all this, like holding your workshops, having your classes, giving performances, how much time do you have left in your day to practice on your own for yourself?
It is a challenge, because
Mm,
not only because of the time pressures, but it also is a pressure on my voice, because there is a limited amount of strength that your voice has. You can't, and I also have a child, right? So getting
mm,
behind her homework, pushing her to brush her teeth, all of that requires you
mm,
to use your voice. And this
mm,
phase in life for a woman particularly is not easy, because there are a lot of pressures, pulls and pushes, personal and professional, that demand your resources. And when I say not resources of just time, of resources of physical stamina, vocal stamina, mental stamina. So it is a
mm,
constant balancing act. It is a
mm,
constant balancing act. And another thing I have learned is to not aim for perfection,
mm,
you know, rather than, when you aim for perfection all the time, then you're
mm,
always feeling like you're failing. Rather than that, aim for fulfillment and contentment in every little thing you do, and try and be 100% present in every single thing that you're doing. Whether it is doing the homework with my child, at that time, am I 100% present with her? When I'm doing my riyas, that particular half an hour, am I fully committed to the raga I'm singing, and am I fully committed to those few notes I'm practicing? Then when I move to actually teaching, am I doing full justice to that student? When I'm doing a workshop, am I giving whatever I possibly can to these participants so that they go away with something? At every point, if you're trying to do your best and try and pack it with contentment and fulfillment, when you look back, you have actually achieved a lot,
mm,
you know. So,
mm,
how do I manage? I manage by compartmentalizing, and
mm,
when I'm doing one thing, I try and give my best at that point only to that. I don't think of anything else, and then do 100% to that. So even if I get 20-25 minutes of riyas on a particular day, I'm not able to do 3 hours. That 20 minutes, I make sure I'm 100% there. I'm not thinking of my classes. I'm not thinking of my child. I'm just 20 minutes, and I carve out the 20 minutes. Tell everybody that 20 minutes don't disturb. But that 20 minutes gives me the mileage of a 4 hour riyas if I'm 100% present in those 20 minutes.
yeah,
So that's how I'm
with
trying
full
to manage.
concentration. Yeah. True. So, between all this, like managing a home, doing your, I would say work, because music is your work now. Do you have any time left to pursue any other interest, or do you have any other interest other than music?
So I love travel and I love reading.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
I used to be a photographer, but now I don't have time to pursue photography. But yes, I
Mm,
love to travel when I have a little bit of time. So I had a big event that got over just a month ago. Music Wix has
mm,
annual events, and
yeah.
we had an
Mm,
event where I had my professional show, followed by
mm,
the singing of all my students in YB Chavan Auditorium here in Mumbai. It was a very, very intense 3, 4 months run up to that. But after that, I just took off, me and my family, and I shut music for some time, for 2 weeks. There was this surpeti was not audible to me, and then we just
Okay.
traveled and we went abroad for some time and came back. So I love traveling.
Okay.
I love reading because it's a way to travel beyond just physical
Physical.
travel. It's a way to just go to different places. I love watching movies. I'm a movie
Okay.
buff. So these are the other interests I have. But because music is so fulfilling, you know, I mean, I even if I didn't get this for some time, all of these things, travel and reading, if I didn't get time, even if I didn't, I can't say I would be very unhappy because this is so
Okay.
fulfilling and so happiness provoking in itself that I don't really miss even if I don't get to do this. But yeah, having said that, if I do get time, I love traveling and reading.
Okay. And you were into spirituality also. You
Yes.
write for some publications, right?
So I
How did
categorize
you?
that under my music work because my music is intertwined with spirituality, intertwined with, like I said, the whole philosophy is music cannot be delinked with spiritual wellness. It just cannot. Even in my riyas, it cannot. Even in my performances, it cannot. So I don't think of it as something else I'm doing. It is part and
Okay.
organically woven into everything I do within music. So
Mhm.
the articles I've written have come from a musical space in my head, a musical wellness
Okay.
space in my head. So when I'm writing an article about music, it is in my music space that I am when I'm writing that article. So I was a columnist with the Daily Guardian. I wrote a lot about the link between classical music and spirituality, and it came again from very empirical evidence, empirical experiences. So I like it's not a separate thing. I really consider it within that larger umbrella of the music pursuit that I have because I feel since classical music is so organic, it cannot be delinked from us as spiritual human beings living on this earth. It's woven into our existence.
Mm.
So
Do you
yes,
meditate?
yes,
Do you
I
meditate
meditate about an hour a
daily?
day for now, many 20 years.
Okay. Okay.
So it's
Do
a
you
big
have a
part
guru?
of my life.
No.
For meditation, so the way
Mm.
I have pursued my spiritual process has been very
Mm.
eclectic. I have
Mm.
shared philosophies of great people, right from Sadhguruji to Osho to Eckhart Tolle to Deepak Chopra to everybody, and because I read a lot, but my spiritual journey has been a very
Inner
personal.
thing.
It's been an inner journey of personal discovery, and whatever has happened spiritually to me has happened because of inner spiritual experience through meditation. I The kind of meditation I do is vipassana, so that's another. So I've been exposed to even the SGI Soka Gakkai books. I
Okay.
had a roommate who was pursuing that, so I draw from different philosophical thought, but the pursuit of spirituality is a very personal journey for me. And it has been a
Mm.
journey of discovery through now 20 years of meditating that I go deeper and
Mm.
deeper and unravel layers of my inner psyche. And that
Mm.
reflects even in the music and the work that I do.
And your kid, is she into music? Have you put her
Yes,
into
she
music?
learns. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
She is learning from my
Okay.
own academy, but not from me because
Okay.
there is a very popular saying in Hindi, right? Ghar ki murgi dal barabar.
Dal
So
barabar. Yeah.
to her, I could be the founder of music groups for everybody else, the principal or whatever. For her, I'm just mama. So
Uh,
she will not learn from me with the same dedication that a lot of students do. So I have actually put her under one of my team members who she's learning from,
okay.
and she's also she performs every year at my event. She's still an early learner
Okay.
and a basic learner,
Uh,
but I want
mm,
music to be there in her life, irrespective of whether
mm,
she makes it into a profession or pursues it with as much um, seriousness as me. That is immaterial, but it has to be a part of her life. So that I'm particular about.
So, since you have like students across all age groups at your academy, what is that? Do you see, if I may ask, is there any particular basic quality that is needed in a person if he wants to learn classical?
You just have to be a
Is there
living.
anyone?
You just have to be a living thing. Even my dog loves certain ragas. So our philosophy is so inclusive that we don't
Okay.
care as long as you have a soul and emotions, and if you can hear
As long as
and
you want to
smile
do it.
and laugh. Yes, I mean,
Okay.
we don't have. That's one of the things that I feel is very important to us as a team. And
Normally
as,
academies, no, why I'm asking is because normally academies, they give you like pre-tests, no, whether you're qualified to enter or not. That's why I asked that question.
so the way I would answer that is like asking a person, "Are you qualified to breathe?"
Okay.
If you are born into this earth, you have every right to breathe, and nobody should take that away from you. Music should be like that. You should not have qualification to access music. Music is like life breath. It's like the beauty of the mountains and the oceans. It is not reserved for anyone. It has to be there for everybody to partake. You may take one drop, you may take one bucket, you may take a gallon, you may take a big river with you. That is up to you. But I am no one to tell you to not take it because it's not my right. Music is God's gift, it should be there for everybody. So as long as you're a living thing, I'm not even saying a human being. Even my dog loves Rag Purvi and sleeps to it, and I never stop my dog from. She hears my surpeti, she comes running and she lies down next to me. That's the power of
Okay.
music. That's the power of
Yeah.
classical music. So I'm no one to tell anyone to not learn. But once you've come into the academy, of course, we expect you to commit yourself, because in order to even enjoy the benefits that music can give you, you have to show certain amount of dedication to the lessons, to the practice that we expect you to do. You may not be at the same level as XYZ. You may be at a very basic level, but we expect that you do enough work for you to enjoy the benefits by doing the riyas properly and by doing the assignments. That's the only thing I expect. But I have no criteria for taking people. Absolutely nothing. As long as you're living and breathing, you can come.
Okay. So, what is your one piece of advice you would like to give to an music enthusiast?
Um, I don't know whether I would call myself, I would never want to call myself at any point in time qualified to advise anyone. But what
No, but you
I
are a
would like to
teacher.
say, yeah, what I would say to a young musician is, a classical musician is, while classical music of both forms needs a certain kind of austerity and exclusivity in order to perfect the craft. That's why that exclusivity came. That's why you're talking about
Mm,
academies having filters, right? But
mm,
having said that, once you should have that exclusivity only within yourself in order to perfect your craft.
mm,
When you're sharing your music, shed the exclusivity, and not not for anything else. It's not coming from a superior space. I'm saying this. It's because there are so many lonely souls out there, so many people with so many problems who, if I'm the only one doing this, I have only two hands and one voice. If there are more people out there who know classical music, who love classical music, who can open up their music, teaching,
mm,
imparting, singing in an inclusive format, can you imagine the number of people that will benefit from it? Number of people that will be moved from it, that can become well, that can become happy. Uh, all it takes is to shed that exclusivity mindset when you are imparting and when you're giving music. Have the exclusivity when you're learning, because the more you sharpen your craft, the better you become, the better antenna you become. Like I said earlier, you become a much better antenna to receive divine music. But don't become exclusive. You should be a tree when you're giving. You should give it.
mm,
Tree doesn't think, right? Am I giving this apple to this person or that person? You just give. And it's not, it's you cannot become gatekeepers or guardians to give music. Just give it with all your heart. Whatever anybody can take, let them take. If they take only this much and they're happy with it, that's fine. If they take this much and they're happy, that's fine too. If they become extraordinarily good musicians and become fantastic professional classical musicians, well and good. It's up to each person what they want to take. but it is our job and our duty to just give and just let it flow from there. So that's my only thing I would say. If there is any exclusivity mindset while giving, it's good to shed that, because there'll be more people who can access the beauty and peace and love that music can produce in your heart.
That's a very sweet thing to say. Acha, you have any upcoming performances? Are you preparing
Yes,
for any?
yes, there are
Mm,
there are a few performances coming up. One
mm,
in September, one in actually there are two, three coming up in September and in October.
mm,
One is around Navratri, and one is a concert again, which is meant for a women-centric audience. So I'm preparing
okay.
something which is very women-centric, something that can appeal to the woman's mind and women's sensibilities. And yeah, a lot more later in the year that will keep coming up. So these are the ones that are in the anvil right now. So I am looking forward to performing them.
Okay. So I wish you all the best for all your performances, and I
Thank
wish you
you.
all the best with all your teachers. And
Thank
may
you
you
so much.
keep giving your music to anybody who comes to you. And
Thank
I
you. Thank
learned
you.
quite a lot from this interview today. And
Thank you so
thank you
much.
so much for that. Yeah,
You've
thank
been
you
a
so
very
much.
gracious interviewer, and I've enjoyed my interaction with you. Thank you to Life and
Yeah,
More for this
thank you
opportunity.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Rajkumar.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.